there you can kind of see that American flag, although it's sitting down a little bit out of the wind, it's still flapping fairly well. If it'd be up higher, it'd be flapping pretty much standing straight out all the time, I have a feeling. But that yellow house always marks the right turn is coming up on me just at the bottom of this next hill. Can't tell, I'm sure, but the water tower of Lee, Nebraska, L-E-I-G-H, was visible on the horizon there. That was the little town where my father had his last church before he passed away early at age 62. I got the wind behind me. Down here at the bottom of the hill on my right, there's a little bitty, some sort of privately constructed little takeoff airport, if you will, for probably model planes, maybe model rockets, I'm not sure. I don't know if any flying of drones commences out of that place. But you can kind of see there's a little model rocket, little shed and some benches. So somebody has fun. I bet they had fun envisioning that and creating it. And it's been there for decades, and it's maintained, so somebody's still using it, which is cool. Or 12 miles up this road, there's going to be a hill off to the left on a farm of one of my dad's parishioners, members of the congregation, and they let him build a little observatory up on this hill. Even had electricity run out to the observatory. My dad built this and had a slide-off roof to expose the telescope. And he went through a phase of his life where he would spend time out there looking at the heavens. What I can remember, and this is decades and decades ago, so I'll say what I can remember. I'll say that one more time. Back then there was some sort of amateur astronomy certification that one could achieve. It had something like 81 stars or constellations or whatever up in the sky that you needed to find and document at various points of the year. So at various times of the year, and he did that. I remember getting yanked out of bed in the middle of the night and hauled out there to see the northern lights, which was fairly rare in these here parts. So that's a fond memory. I'm not sure I liked getting woken up in the middle of the night all that much, but something to remember fondly. So we're getting up to a part of the state close to, well, we're in part of the state where I kind of grew up, 3rd grade through graduation of high school. And then I left for college, although came home in the summer times. Worked concrete construction 4 summers. for each of the 4 years of college. Summer of 1972, I made $1.25 an hour working concrete construction. Thought I was rich. What a nutcase I was. We got paid weekly. My first paycheck, I bought a 8-track tape player deck for my car. The second paycheck, I bought the rear speakers for it. Oh boy. I was then, and I still am, pretty naive in a lot of ways. An idealist. I just think this is beautiful country. All the different shades of color and brown, contours of the land. Many of the crops still unharvested. If you're open to it, there's beauty in the desert of Nevada, in this vast openness of Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. The hill country of Virginia, the horse farms of the rolling hills of Virginia, fox hunt country, the unbelievably productive, agriculturally, the flatlands of the part of Illinois where I lived for a couple of years. But you got to be open to it. And a lot of people aren't, and that's okay for them. That was the Benson place. George Sr. was the kind of ran the summer baseball programs. Wee Pee, Pee Wee, Midgets, Junior Legion. Don't even know if that stuff exists anymore, or if it just exists in the larger communities. Right there was my dad's observatory. Right there where that telephone pole is. And the 4 corner posts are still there. Telephone pole, it was an electrical service pole at the time. So now we're going down into the Elkhorn River Valley. We'll see. We'll see if the bridge is open or not. I haven't seen any signs, so that's encouraging. Typically, I would think back when I turned onto this Highway 57, they would have had a sign that would say road closed X miles ahead, or we crossed another highway. I don't remember what the number of that one is, but there would have been a sign there also saying road closed so many miles ahead. No signs. I'm hopeful. Again, the repair should have been just the approach and the transition area between the land and the bridge. The bridge itself, there's some longhorns. The bridge itself wasn't damaged, at least per those early reports. So you can see on the horizon the northern banks to and through. Yay, I think the road's going to be open. I won't have to confuse Susan anymore by not going on my programmed route. Poor Susan. There you can see the northern bluffs on the horizon. Distinguishing the Elkhorn River Valley. Just like the Platte River, you sit there and think, well, wow, does that mean over the eons the Elkhorn River has shifted course to carve this wide valley, or was it once this wide and those were the banks, the active banks? And of course I'll never study that question to find an answer. Oh well, no biggie. Uh-oh, here's an orange sign ahead. Road work ahead, that's all it says. Ah, yes, the bridge is open. There it is. You can tell the south bank here is that straw and stuff for where it's been, grass has been reseeded after the construction. So all this was right here was wiped out, and there's the Elkhorn River and all the big, it was flooded back in March substantially. Stanton County Fairgrounds. Football field's no longer where it was back in the day. 1,577 souls strong. Nebraska is just 12 miles up the road that away. And imagine that's probably an employment source. The old courthouse is long gone. The new courthouse is there. Both bank thermometers say 71. Bank thermometers is 73. So there you go. Post office is still here. Box 636. Combination was D-Ab High. Not currently, folks, but 45 years ago. I used to deliver newspapers to all these homes. at other times I mowed the lawns of a bunch of them. Pick up baseball games in this park. Couldn't do that today, it looks like. Too many trees. Got a stop sign. The math teacher used to live in that house. Delivered papers to him. High school math. I still dream sometimes of delivering newspapers. This bridge has been closed for decades. Got wiped out and the city decided not to rebuild. City would get flooded every now and then. This creek. But they've built a dam out north of town, Mascantine, and I don't think they've had any flood problems since. And it's a great recreation area that has a tragic motorcycle connection. Just this last winter, a guy was out riding his motorcycle on the ice on that lake, and evidently there must have been a tree sticking out of the ice or something that he was trying to use as a ramp to fly up in the air and land, and he crashed through the ice, died, drowned. Dad's old church was right here. Built a new one while he was here and tore down the old one. That was the last confirmation class in that old church. The school system looks completely different. That library is on the National Historic Register. My mom was librarian there for a number of years. Elementary school sat up on this hill, and it's since been long ago torn down. But that's where I went to elementary school, in that old building. Isn't it funny how things change over 50 years? Yeah, the house I grew up in still's there. Different color, kind of a light gray. Look at that tree, that's pretty beautiful. Big tree that used to be between those two houses is long gone. Raby's Hill. Oh, did we go sledding down this hill. We'd go clear past the railroad tracks on a good run. They don't let that happen anymore. It is kind of... There's the old Raby's house. I mowed that lawn. That was fun with the steep embankments. And the new church that was built while my dad was serving as minister. Looks like they've paved this back parking lot. Used to be gravel. Shoot, they've paved this whole thing. This one years and years ago. That was all gravel too. Here's going down Raby's Hill. State patrolman probably living there now. Well, probably wouldn't have done any good had it been sledding. We'd go shooting right through this stop sign, and there's like 2.5 blocks of the railroad crossing, and on good runs we'd get over those railroad tracks. It's amazing we weren't killed. Here's where the railroad tracks were. They are no more. Right through here. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Amazing. The old swimming pool is gone, but it's got a new swimming pool. I'd been signed up and hired to be a lifeguard that first summer before college, but I got on with concrete construction up in Norfolk, and that's a good deal. Worked hard those 4 summers, real hard. Couldn't do it anymore, but for a young college kid, made okay money. There's the new elementary school. Made okay money and learned that hard physical labor was not what I wanted to do with my life. And that's not to put down people who do hard physical labor. It just wasn't for me. And I put in 4 summers of it, so I am, well, besides lawn mowing and delivering newspapers in the dead of winter with a foot of snow on the ground, and the Sunday morning Omaha World Herald back while there was pretty hefty, and I had a goodly number of papers to deliver. Okay, it's time to travel on. There's what used to be Schultz-Vogel Mortuary, now it's Schultz-Vogel-Johnson Mortuary. We always thought this was the hugest and most grand house in town. The Smithburgers. All right, Susan, I'll start listening to and following your directions. Got enough. Can always come back for more. St. John's Lutheran, Wisconsin centered. My wife attended, my ex-wife attended. Cemetery. Now going up into the northern bluffs of the Missouri, excuse me, the Elkhorn River Valley. Got a few miles ahead of us, and we'll take a right on 275 and start heading eastward and then southward to go home. We've hit the northern, well, up here will be the northern apex of today's ride. Somewhere along here, right along the highway on the left side, is little strip of land where I drove my first tractor, did like rowing of hay. It wasn't a very big field, so we didn't have that many bales we produced, but I got to row the hay, driving the tractor, and then we loaded up. I didn't do the baling machine, but I helped load the bales onto a wagon. A friend of mine has died many years ago now. I think I've already passed that little strip of land. I wasn't looking at it, out for it immediately upon leaving town, and I Probably missed it before I became conscious of looking for it. We go. Steakhouse, land for sale, land only. I don't know what the heck that means. I think it's closed. Oh yeah, it's boarded up. It's closed. Little town of Stanton, Nebraska. County seat of Stanton County, Nebraska. Only one other little town in Stanton County, and we're going to come close to it up here in a little ways. Pilger, Nebraska. A few years back they got hit hard, Pilger did, by one tornado, although in the area there were two funnel clouds at the same time, but I don't think they both hit Pilger. I think just one hit Pilger. Did lots of damage to that little town. Pilger kids didn't even come to Stanton for school or high school. A little further up this road will be a town named Wisner, and they created a consolidated school a long time ago. 60s maybe? Wisner Pilger. So they were a rivalry, among other rivalries. Okay, Susan's giving me a ETA back home right at 7 o'clock. But I do have to stop for gas.